Well, hello everyone. It's not very often I get to talk about McLaren, and here we are with a pretty cool McLaren. Historically, McLarens are like a 50-50 mix for me as far as ugliness versus coolness. I like the F1. I like the F1. The other road cars are kind of ugly. Oh, I like the Speedtail as well. But this is the third one I think I like. So this is a new brand to me, LMLF. It's probably an unlicensed fly-by-night Chinese operation, just based on the base of this thing. It is supposed to be 1/64 scale, and there we go. Okay, so this is the official McLaren website. They're going to make 25 of these things. I don't know what they're going to cost, but I'm sure it's well beyond the price of, if you have to ask, you can't afford it kind of thing. 5.2 liter V10 engine. It revs up to 10,000 RPM. That's pretty impressive. And then the thing only weighs 1,000 kilograms. That's 2,200 pounds if you measure things the old way. But it creates more downforce in the weight, so yeah, you could drive this upside down at a certain speed. It'll go over 200 miles per hour. The designer of this is Robert Melville, and this is one of the last great things that's actually assembled in England. So I guess another thing, it has a 7-speed transmission. I assume it's just rear-wheel drive. Power 840 PS. Okay. And then it's going to be a carbon fiber body, I suppose. And I guess that's it for as to what I want to learn. Here's some images. And now this thing has one screw holding it down. And some weird splooge there. That's not cool. It's got a metal etched nameplate with the brand, what the car is, so that's good to know. It's interesting, the base is just plain plastic, but I kind of like it. It's a good contrast to the orange of this model. Although if they sell a white version of this model, maybe that's not the best choice. Maybe they have that on a different colored base, I don't know. So this is a single seat road car. It's like an F1 car with a roof. Look at that crazy splitter, how far it sticks out. It's got a barge board here. I don't know if this is a prototype or the road production car, but what's missing from this are those barge boards, so that's an issue. Okay, side view, looks like the same event, just based on the wooden planking it's on. Let's see, if I move the camera down, let's see how well these lines match up. That's pretty good, actually. That vent or intake, yeah, the rear wing. I would say that's pretty good. There's a big black thing here. You just can't see it. You can see it on the model, but the photograph is kind of dark. So this rear photograph is of the prototype, but looking through the box, it looks like it didn't change too much. So 2 exhaust pipes. You'll notice these exhaust pipes aren't horizontal. I don't know if the engine is longitudinal, if it's cranking over, making the exhaust crank over with it, or again, this is a prototype, it might have just been slapped together. Okay, some sort of LED thing like F1 cars would have. And then, yeah, venting there. Alright, so you'll have to decide if that looks correct or not. So far, I'm liking it. Well, now we'll really know. Well, I guess there's nothing really dangerous sticking out. I guess I could take this off the base. I'm just going to put it back on though later. I don't have room really to collect empty boxes, so... Yeah, there's really nothing on the bottom of this thing. There's no branding, doesn't tell you what the car is. So... I don't know why they do that. I kind of feel like a lot of people would take this off the base. They could have molded in those details. If for some reason something is messed up, you can unscrew it and hopefully try to fix it. It's kind of neat. They have a little, some sort of indication of suspension there. These silver things are cut in because they're probably brake systems that don't spin with the wheels. And so yes, you can see it does roll like a Hot Wheels. Well, probably not as smooth as a Hot Wheels, but if you want to make it a toy and push it around, you can. Yeah, well, you can hear it squeaking. There's some sort of friction in there. And also, I think I saw a flat spot on the tire from being compressed down a little bit. Alright, well, the base is metal, by the way, if the weight of things matters to you, but I think there's too much resistance for this to be competitive down a Hot Wheels track. And it's also too nice, I think, to send down a Hot Wheels track. The treads, they're kind of blocky, like, they don't look really realistic. They look like treads of a cheap model. Not sure why I picked that up. Get this out of here. So let's go to the side here. Start with the front wheel. Now that gappiness bothers me. Oh, but you can push it up. So I think that looks a lot better. It could be maybe a little closer, but it's not necessarily bad. Okay. I would say that's a nice looking wheel. Sure, the spokes aren't as thin as the real car, but they have to be a certain thickness or they'll be very fragile. And it looks like there is a brake system back there, and you can see it doesn't spin with the wheel. And then I guess there's a brake caliper closer to the middle of the car, and it's like a darker, maybe a gunmetal. I can't tell through my phone screen. The tires have rounded sidewalls, so they look pretty good. Then this orange paint, it's an orange metallic. It's pretty nice. I don't know if it's like a silver body with an orange transparent clear coat, or if it's literally flakes in some orange paint, but it looks really good. It looks like it does have depth to it. Then this like air relief area is painted black, good color separation. Then here we have some black. That's part of the base, I guess, so that helps with the color separation. And then, oh right, that's scooping in there. So it's very, very sculptural. There's a aqueduct right there. No black paint though. There is this graphic here though, of these little lines and a black stripe. Just trying to see up there what's going on there. Oh wow, look at that. That's really neat. You can see right through to the front. So very sculptural. At this end of this video, I'm going to show you something that's similar to this. Okay, and then you can see all the way through the back. It kind of reminds me of the Lambo concept car. What is that concept car name? It eludes me right now. Anyway, some cool sculpturing going on. And yeah, the paint is pretty nice, even all in there. Alright, this back pod, sadly there's a dent there. I don't think that should be there. We'll have to see on the other side. But that could be a flaw in the casting. The pressure relief looks good. The rear wheel, that stance again looks okay. It's acceptable. And the brake rotor is not spinning. Let me zoom in on this rear one and see if there's some cross drilling in the rotor. Yeah, I do think there is some cross drilling, yep. And now the brake is towards the back of the car, the caliper, and it is some sort of darker color. Alright, let's wrap around to the back. There's a little of orange here. They didn't get enough black paint, but you really can't see it from the side. Okay, same in there. It's hard to get paint around everything. But at least this whole side wing vertical area is black, and it's got some streaks dug into it. The rear pipes are round. They're very thin. I think those could be metal tubes because they are so thin. It'd be really hard to make those out of plastic. Yeah, that might be some extra metal from the cutting off. They're also jagged. So that jagged, I think, is like a result of a saw cutting through the tube. Alright, well, there's a rectangle here for that LED array, but you don't see any of the dots. It would have been nice if they printed dots there or literally had molded dots in that surface. The diffuser seems okay. It's a little thick because the space is made of die-cast instead of plastic. If this was plastic, it'd be more realistic because it could be molded thinner. So, that's unfortunate. There's a McLaren sticker there. Looks pretty good. It's legible. And then you can see the tiny, like, slit tail lamps. It's look like tampo printed pink tail lamps, or red. They almost look pink to me. Okay, the rear wing, yeah, it's got paint on the bottom surface. Looks good. Yeah, you can see even through these top areas here, right? You can see through the top and through the bottom. So that's cool how the air is flowing through this casting. I'm going to go around to this side, make sure there's no problems. A little black is missing from that wheel well there. And I didn't catch, let me hit focus. I guess that's a tampo print. this orange thing. I guess maybe that's a reflector built into the wing. I mean, what else would it be? Okay. And then yes, maybe it is intentional to have these dents in the thing, but I don't see dents in the photographs I pulled up, you know. So I think that's some sort of weird process of the casting cooling off, and maybe there's a bunch of extra metal behind this and it cools off at a different rate from the rest of it, and that's what creates this sinkhole. But if you know about metal molding, please leave a comment. Okay, well, yeah, this is like a textured, maybe this is powder coated, the base. But the orange is very smooth. It's actually quite impressive, actually. Not enough black up here, though. Ooh, that wheel, not enough silver. So you probably don't want to touch that. It'd probably scrape off more. But what's nice is you can take out the tire, and if you want to, you could paint those. I'm not sure if I'm going to bother, though. Okay, the chin spoiler part of the base. You know, the chin spoiler is a lot thinner looking than the diffuser area. This doesn't bother me as much as the rear end. And then we have some intakes, I guess, probably brake ducts there. Whoa, 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 what's up with that? Is this a photo etched piece of metal right here? It probably is. Look how thin it is. So that's something you don't expect in a model of this price. This is a bent piece of steel, right? Look how thin it is. So that's really cool that they have that. Alright. Some random gunk. Okay, so the orange here, yeah, you can see the actual axle there holding the wheels together, and just how the air flows. That's really neat. So the top of the front end, we have a tampo printed stripe. Unfortunately, it's not centered, just based on this ridge, and I feel like it should be shifted this way. But the McLaren there, it's probably legible. It's just really small. Yeah. And then we have indication of the suspension here. So it looks like there's one horizontal shock, and maybe both arms actuate that one shock, if I had to guess, but I don't know for sure. Again, it's, they're trying to get some black paint in there, but not enough apparently. Did a better job up here in these pressure relief vents here. And then I guess on the real car these would be open areas. Oh, well, never mind, it is. Actually, looking at that front photograph I pulled up, there's just a black stripe on the edge of this thing. Maybe that's just exposed carbon. So that's interesting. Okay, so yeah, the mold is pretty good, how they got the air under there. And then we have the single wiper blade. That is a photo etch piece. So this is a die cast with a lot of like resin model qualities with all these extra metal bits. So the stripe is coming up here, and there's some sort of light up there on top. I don't know why that would be there. Not sure why you would have a strip like that on the roof of a car. Maybe when it opens or something, it is visible to people. So you can see a really tiny antenna, and that's gotta be a piece of metal, just being that thin and that small. It can't be plastic, no way. And then you see these photo etched grates here. They're pulled off of etching. But yeah, those are real vent holes. Can't see anything under them other than paint, but it's nice that they're there. Again, some black paint here and some black paint there, and there is air passing through underneath there, like on the real car. That's a pretty nice detail, really, for a die cast. I gotta say, I mean, the tampo printing here is pretty impressive, how they got that in there. What I'm thinking is, the casting is this whole middle section, and then these wheel covers are probably separate plastic pieces, and then they're just put on afterwards. They're glued on to the middle, maybe. That's how they got the graphic on first, before they put on the wheel cover, if I had to guess. One thing that's a mystery to me here, where are the headlights on this car? I don't see them on that front photograph. Is this a street legal car? Maybe it's not a street legal car. Maybe it's a track only car and it simply can't run at night. Or possibly, maybe there'd be headlights somewhere in here. Please leave a comment if you know. I don't have time to research all these things. does look like there's a little extra metal flash right here. You know, it got painted. So I guess I have to leave it, because if I chip it off, it's just going to be raw metal. I don't know. I'll leave it alone for now. I gotta say, the wing is nice. There's literally 3 tiny little struts holding the 2 pieces together, and there's air passing through. Granted, I do think they terminate into the same piece here, but it's a pretty intricately molded rear wing, and it's well painted. The vertical strake as well has a little cutout there, so that's neat. I'm assuming that's a piece of plastic pressed into the casting. Alright, the interior is going to be a tough one because it's molded. There's a lot of distortion going on. I don't know what that thing is in the middle though. Why would there's just... It's like a halo of an F1 car. Maybe that's what they're going for. Yeah, probably like a crash halo. Whew, boy, that's hard to see through, but there's a steering wheel, like a tablet-shaped steering wheel, and it looks like there's graphics on it. Yeah, look at those buttons, all different colors. Blue, white, reddish, or orange, maybe even green at the bottom. And the other side, same thing, a bunch of different colors. That's a cool steering wheel, very F1-ish. Seat-wise, hard to say. Yeah, there's the openings for the seat belts to come through. It's got side bolsters, I think, for a helmet to slap against. There's no indication of a harness, though. It would have been nice to maybe have those molded into the seat, if not a decal of a harness. Yeah. Alright, well, it's, I guess, not that important, because the outside is more important, I think. So I was zoomed in quite a lot, which is a little bit unfair to a diecast, but I gotta say, this held up pretty well to it. So looking at this resting, yeah, I'm not a fan of the stance of the front wheel. The rear wheel doesn't seem so bad, but no matter how hard I push that down, that's a really gappy, you know, wheel. It also does look like a truck tire, you know, with the side blocks. But this side, it's a little bit better, but this is the problem with trying to make rolling toys. They have to clear the bodywork. You know, if this thing was not trying to be a toy, that stance would be better, because it would just lower the whole thing. So that's why I don't like rolling models. It makes a less realistic model. Alright, well anyways, just a note. I also have to note that my box was cracked. I didn't even notice that before. I ordered this online. That is the risk you take when you buy stuff online. But my local dealer, I pre-ordered this, never got an indication as to whether or not I'm going to get it, so I ordered this online because I like this car. Let's get the ugly McLarens out of the way first. So this brand is Granny and Partners. They had a whole hypercar collection, and this is the 650S Spider. It's diecast as well. Definitely lower quality, but I think it was cheap when it was new. Like maybe 4 times less than that. Here's a Sparky, which might be cheaper, I think. And this is a race car of the 720S GT3, it says. Also diecast. Very nicely done wing, though. Very thin wing. This brand is a CM model, I believe it was. They don't actually take any credit for what they did. But the wheels can be swapped out in a really smart way. This is the only CM model I think I have. But anyways, it's well done, but now you can see the problem with diecast. I think that's already getting paint rash right there. There's some bubbling going on right there. This model isn't that old. So that's why I'm just kind of shying away from diecast. I think they're all gonna go bad. Alright. This Mini GT diecast as well. And it's the F1 that won the 24 Hours of Le Mans. And they don't tell you that, of course. So there's the normal people that this is a black race car. But still pretty well done. I added my own disc brakes, I think, to this thing. Alright, I'm going to take this out. Take these two away. So another McLaren I do like is the Speedtail, and this is by LCD model, so this is diecast as well. And it's well done, this one. How that wheel cover will stay stationary even though it can roll. Nicely molded, very well done. Usually LCD is a really good brand. And then a long time ago I designed something called the STR, which is short for Short Track Racer. So the F1 was the inspiration for this to be a single-seated covered road car. But I probably designed that 20 years ago, so there aren't many new ideas in the world, you know. With billions of people having been on this planet, it's only a matter of time before someone thinks of something similar. So, but anyways, that was me fulfilling a little project in 3 dimensions. I never really got to make a 3-dimensional object of that in school, not a full-size one, just only half of a model. So all those things you can find videos on. Just search the channel. LMLF, is that what this brand is called? LMLF. It's not a bad first start. A lot of good details considering the price. You know, the photo etched parts in particular are a nice plus. I guess the only issue for me is the front wheels. The stance is really odd. And an easy fix would also be the tires. They don't need to have those tread blocks showing on the side, because road tires don't show tread blocks from the side. So if there were slicks, I think it would have been better. And then yeah, the stance. I suppose if you're really motivated, you can unscrew it and then sand away the area where the axle is resting, and that would lower the stance. But I think I'm just going to leave this alone. And then again, if anyone has a comment as to where the headlights are on this thing, that would be interesting. Or it's probably just a track-only car, maybe. I also have no clue what this car costs in the real world. But again, with so few in production, I would have to assume in the millions of dollars. Thank you for watching, everyone. Hopefully McLaren will come up with another cool-looking car, and then someone will also make a model of it. We'll see you when that happens. Take care.